So what separates everyday hardworking people from millionaires? And what separates millionaires from billionaires? I actually have 3 billionaire mentors, and I figured out there's only one thing that separates these highest achieving people from everyone else, and that is their ability to make decisions. And my name is Sharran Srivatsaa, and I serve as the president of Real. And in this episode, I'm going to show you the exact 3-part framework that I've learned from my billionaire mentors on how to make decisions so that you can model them immediately. Here's the big problem. The average person has 60,000 thoughts per day. Imagine the amount of decision making that is involved in sifting and sorting through those thoughts. So most people just use the lazy person's approach of making decisions, which is they make no decisions. They just ignore it all. We also forget that making no decisions is also a decision in and of itself. That's what I want to separate for you, the ability to make decisions that make your life better. Ray Dalio, who is the founder of Bridgewater, who is a billionaire and one of the most successful investors of our time, almost near Warren Buffett, wrote a great book called Principles. And he talked about how you take your decision-making criteria and make them your principles so that you can make it your way, you can make it the smart way, and you can make decisions fast. So what's the answer? After spending the last 10 plus years with 3 of my billionaire mentors, the big question I've asked is, what is common among the 3 of them? That's a hard thing to do. Is it their wealth? Is it their health? Is it the way they approach their family? Is it their hard work? Is it their work ethic? Is it their intelligence? What is it? And I've realized that these are the 3 things in their ability to make decisions is what was the most common thing among all of them. So I'm going to break down all of those 3 things for you. They are not afraid to make decisions. I know this sounds basic, but they are not afraid to make decisions. What that means is that most of us have to realize that making a decision is not a monumental task. Making a decision is just a trade-off. When you say yes to something, you're probably saying no to something else. And if you can understand what you're saying yes to and what you're saying no to, at least you know the right thing that you're saying yes to and the right thing that you're saying no to. If you know right away that a decision is just a trade-off, then you'll realize how to make better trade-offs. If you want to invest in the car, but you're not going to get the boat, you know the trade-off is the boat. If you want to buy the house, but you can't buy the plane, you know that's a decision. If it's as simple as if you want to go on a vacation, but you then are not going to get your PlayStation, you know that is a trade-off. Most of the decisions that we're making are trade-offs. Maybe relationships with people, relationships on projects, things that we're investing, they're all trade-offs. Billionaires understand this really, really well. They know that the fastest way to make decisions is to make more decisions. They're not afraid to make decisions. And here's why. When you make more decisions, you get the courage to make more decisions. Making decisions is a muscle. Making decisions is all about reps. So when we get in the thought process of making quick decisions and making them fast, you will get out of anxiety much better. So the number one tip that I will give you is understand that a decision is just a trade-off, and billionaires, just like you and I, should not be afraid to make more decisions. Here's number 2. These billionaires make decisions quickly. I've seen the speed in which they instantly can make the decisions. A lot of it is because they have these principles. They either have made the decision like that before, or they have some kind of framework for making the decision. And I want to give you a really simple framework for making decisions quickly. And here's what it is. If the decision is reversible, with not a lot of pain, make it as fast as possible, because you can always reverse the decision. But the decision is irreversible, then you're thinking about trade-offs. Then you're thinking, man, if I make this decision, what am I going to give up to actually potentially reverse this decision? And you will realize this. 9 out of 10 decisions that you and I make in our lives are mostly reversible. 9 out of 10 decisions are not etched in stone. The speed in which you get to make decisions is super, super important. I will tell you, every time I'm sitting with one of my billionaire mentors and I ask a question, the answer is instant. The answer is, I would do this. The answer is, do it this way. The answer is, if it were me, I would take this angle. The answer is so fast, and you always wonder why. The why is based on the clarity of thought, because they have made reps in having the decisions made, and they also know if it's reversible, they make it quickly because they can move forward and test it out, and if it's irreversible, they actually take a second and figure out what the trade-offs are. So the next time you're faced with a decision, ask this one question: is this reversible? And if it is, what is the harm in actually making that decision quickly? And if it's not reversible, then what is the trade-off? That way you know the cost of the trade-off of making that decision. Billionaires make decisions quickly, and they don't make it just because they're billionaires. They don't make it because they have money to throw around. In fact, it's the opposite. They make it because they have the reps, they make it because they have the framework, and they make it because they know that one is reversible and one is not, and how to make the trade-off between the two. But here is Strategy number 3 on how billionaires make decisions, and they have moral compass mentors. I'll say it again, moral compass mentors. What would a billionaire who is talking to me, what advice would they want? They don't need lead generation advice. They don't need to talk to their CFO. They know more than their CFO. They don't need to talk to their COO. They let the COO make the decision. Who do they talk to? They want to talk to moral compass mentors. Billionaires have moral compass mentors. The reason that they go and talk to their pastor at church, the reason that they go and talk to their grandfather, the reason that they go talk to a farmer, the reason that they go talk to a small boutique shop owner, the reason that they go talk to their moms. Why? Because they keep them aligned from a moral compass perspective. The hardest part of making decisions is not making the decision, is knowing the place you're coming from when you make the decision. That is the most important part. If you are like, hey, that is always the right thing to do, you will know that is always the right thing to do. Moral compass mentors are what people seek out. Billionaires seek them out. I will tell you this, you will hear billionaires and very successful entrepreneurs and millionaires say something like, oh, if I can do it, you can do it too. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is a lie. It is a bold-faced lie. Millionaires and billionaires telling you and I that if they can do it, we can do it too is a bold-faced lie. And the reason is they're doing it so that they don't have to tell you that what they went through, how they thought about it, the successes and failures that they endured to get there. Because everything doesn't line up that way. Their skills, their capabilities, their intrinsic motivation, their life backstory are not yours and mine. We have our own and we have to harness our own. But if I can do it, you can do it too is not right. If it's false, then what is the truth? I've been thinking about this a lot, and which is I want to not model the person, I want to model their support system. I don't want to model Ray Dalio. I don't want to model Elon Musk. I don't want to model Steve Jobs. People say, oh, Steve Jobs was a jerk, so I can be a jerk too. That's not it. That's not how this works. What I want to model is their support systems. Who did Rocky Balboa have in his corner so that I can become a boxer like Rocky Balboa? Who does he have stacked in that corner? Who does Elon Musk have in his corner, right? Who does Oprah have in her corner? Who does Ellen have in her corner? Who does Taylor Swift have in her corner? I want to model their support systems. I was enamored by Tony Robbins and the empire that he built, and I knew that there's no way I could be like Tony Robbins. Tony is a freak of nature. I appreciate him. He's one of the greatest educators of our generation. But I realized that if Tony can do what he does, I can do what I do. So I actually hired Tony Robbins, a speaking coach, to help me, to train me, to learn from how I can do what I do. It is not about doing what they do. It is not about modeling the person. It is modeling their support system. And I think that is why billionaires use moral compass mentors. A lot of times when they're stuck, they're not stuck in the decision. They're stuck in where they're coming from to make that decision. That's why they want moral compass clarity. They want to know what's right. They want to know what's the big thing to do. They want to know how to change the world. They want to see the moral compass come to life. They want the alignment of that. And that's why you want to have people in your life and in your support network that are true moral compass people for you, that hold you together, that hold the line tight, that will call you out when you veer off course. Because one little shift, one little change can throw you off course and dramatically affect your confidence and your reputation. And billionaires know that. Nothing brings down a billionaire faster than lapse in judgment or being off on their moral compass. That's why they're in the news. That's why they are put down. That's why they're in the tabloids. Billionaires seek moral compass mentors, and you and I should seek the same to figure out it's not about how we model them, it's about who is stacked in our corner. So let me give you a practical example on how I've utilized this advice in my own life to help me, and maybe it'll help you too. When we were running our last business, Telus Properties, which was a luxury real estate brokerage in Southern California, we took it from one office and 18 agents to 22 offices and 700 agents, grew the business 10x in 5 years to 3.4 billion, and sold the business to Douglas Elliman. Now, how that all happened was not easy, was not magical. And I want to give you this decision-making advice that we employed along the way. Every year, since we didn't know what we were going to do the next year, since we were trying to build a business plan, most entrepreneurs come up with a business plan in their head. And our idea was, well, how can we decide like a billionaire? So every summer, we shopped the business. We took it informally to market, assuming if we were to sell the business today, what would we get for it? And that's really important. And so we said, hey, if we sell the business today, what would we get for it? They said 50 million. We're like, okay, cool. What if we wanted 100? And they said, well, if you did these 5 things, you would get 100. And that became the business plan for the next year. Next year, we came back and informally shopped the same thing. And they said, wow, you did the work that you did, you got to 100 million. I was like, well, what if we want 200? They said, you have to do these 3-4 things. And that became the business plan for next year. As you look forward and as you look back, that makes sense, but that was not our thought process. We just didn't know any different, and we wanted a way to make quick decisions. And to make quick decisions, I wanted to figure out who in the market would give me the right support system to make those decisions. That one strategy of going to market every year, taking the market's view of what would it take us to be more successful and use that as a way to make decisions was our way of building that company from here to here that allowed us to create insane value. That was a very practical way of how we made decisions fast, as opposed to making it in a vacuum and not having a support system around it. Hey, if this topic is interesting to you, I have something for you. I have a super secret private podcast called 10K Wisdom. And here's what it is. It is $10,000 worth of value in every single episode. And it's private because I originally started it to help the founders and the CEOs that we've invested in. It is raw, it's real, it's got no intro or outro. Anytime I have a great idea on how to make better decisions on a lesson that I learned, I actually record it for all the CEOs and founders that we've invested in. It is called 10K Wisdom. So the number 10K Wisdom, 10kwisdom.com. It is a completely private podcast. It shows up in your podcast app. It is 100% free. So if you're interested in the same advice and the lessons that I share with the CEOs and entrepreneurs that I mentor and invest in, you can get it for free as well at 10kwisdom.com. Just remember this, what is separating you from your biggest dreams is your ability to make decisions and make them faster. So I want to offer you this one question. If you had no more information and you must decide, what decision do you make? And the more times you can put yourself in that situation, the more you build the muscle, the more you build the reps, the more you build the intuition, and the more you build the courage to make better decisions. If you had no more information and you must decide, what decision do you make? That will get you on the path to billionaire so much faster. Hey, if you missed this past episode that I did on the 5 ways to double your database, it's right here. But most importantly, I want you to subscribe to my channel, because on my next video, I'm going to show you this one tip that I paid $50,000 for. This $50,000 tip has taught me how to make great presentations and run great meetings, and I want to share it with you.